Hey everybody, I always get caught jamming along to the little intro there. I hope you are having a great 2-year-old Tuesday. That's right, we're going to talk about the babies. We had some really stellar performances this weekend, and that is what we're going to be talking about. Let's kick it off talking about Thoughtfully, who won the Grade 2 Adirondack Stakes by 5 lengths at Saratoga. That was under Ricardo Santana Jr. for trainer Steve Asmussen. In fact, why don't we go ahead and take a look back at the race where she followed up her maiden debut score with, again, Grade 2 black type.
Ava's Grace just in front. Make Mischief right up alongside Lucifer's Lair. Behind them, Thoughtfully, and down on the inside, Lilac Lace 46 flat for the half. And they're heading to the 8th pole, and Ava's Grace is trying to fend off Thoughtfully, who kicks it into high gear. And Thoughtfully has run right by in a sparkling performance. Thoughtfully and Ricardo Santana Jr., and she's bred to run all day long. They report home 4 in front in taking the Adirondack stylishly. Make Mischief second. Ava's Grace was third.
Okay, so there you go. That is Thoughtfully for Steve Asmussen, and again, jockey Ricardo Santana Jr. winning the Grade 2 Adirondack Stakes. She is owned by Hyder Family Stables, was bred by Gainesway, is a daughter of their prepotent Tappet. And then the bottom side, she's Out of Pension, who's a daughter of Seeking the Gold. You may remember, in addition to being a multiple Grade 1 winner, Seeking the Gold was second to Ali Shiva in the 88 Breeders' Cup Classic. So a very nice horse, top and bottom in terms of the sire and dam sire. Now, Pension has already produced multiple stakes winners, including Grade 2 Futurity winner Annual Report, and is herself a full sister to Grade 3 winner Happy Hunting. Thoughtfully's grandmother is Furlough, and Furlough is by one of my all-time favorite horses, Easy Goer. Now, Furlough won the Grade 1 Alabama Stakes. She's out of another graded stakes winner in Blighty by Reba Ridge. In addition to Furlough, Blighty produced Grade 1 Hempstead handicap winner Fantastic Fine and 1989's Breeders' Cup Sprint champ Dancing Spree. So you've got a really nice balance of stamina and speed within this pedigree, and this filly looked really good out there. If you go even further back, she's got even more credentials that make you excited about what she may do in the future, because going back to Blighty, who I was talking about, she's also the dam of Oh What a Dance, and Oh What a Dance is the unraced dam of Grade 1 matron winner Oh What a Windfall, in addition to being the dam of Hall of Fame inductee Heavenly Prize. And Heavenly Prize, not only was she great on track, but she went on to produce a number of really good horses, including Grade 1 winning millionaire Good Reward. So again, Thoughtfully, she has the pedigree. We've seen what she can do on track so far, 2 for 2. So again, a very exciting prospect. Now, Asmussen was having himself a weekend, okay, because he got another score with another very impressive 2-year-old. In fact, that 2-year-old was working with Thoughtfully ahead of her Adirondack Stakes and ahead of his debut. Let's actually take a look at that work, and then we'll discuss the colt I'm talking about. Oh, let's see if I can make that better for you. Okay, so here we go. Thoughtfully, who just won the Grade 2 Adirondack, on the inside and to her outside. And look how beastly he appears. Look at that stride. That is Calibrate. And boy, we really need to talk about this colt, because he is very exciting, very impressive. Just look at the muscle on this horse. My goodness. So he notched an 80 buyer first out this weekend. And I mean, again, just look at him working with, again, the winner of the Adirondack Stakes, thoughtfully. Thoughtfully is on the inside. Calibrate is on the outside. Big thanks to XBTV for putting up such great footage of these works. They really come in handy to get a sense of who these horses are working against, because that does matter. That has something to do, obviously, with what they do in the afternoon in terms of the class they're handling in the morning. But also, especially with these youngsters, it's good to see how professional they are. So this was ahead of his debut, and you can see just what a pro he looks like here. So let's talk about the pedigree, because it's a very nice pedigree. Now, he was bred by the Don Alberto Corporation, picked up for $340,000 as a yearling at Keeneland September last year. He's a son of Distorted Humor, who we already know he's a proven sire. And there's reason to believe that Calibrate will be just fine stretching out also, because his mother, Glamour and Style, is an unraced daughter of stamina-influenced Dynaformer. Dynaformer himself is a son of Roberto, and among Roberto's many wins is the storied Epsom Derby. So you've already got, again, some nice speed influence from Distorted Humor, and then on the bottom, the, again, dam is a daughter of Dynaformer, who is a son of Roberto. Glamour and Style is also a full sister to Group 1 winner, Somewhat, who's also known as It's Somewhat. He won the Doncaster Mile over Happy Clapper. You probably remember that horse's day, because Happy Clapper, unfortunately, didn't get to get too happy when going up against Winks multiple times over there in Australia. It's Somewhat, or Somewhat, however you want to look at his name, depending on where he's running. Also won a couple of Group 3 races at 10 furlongs. So again, there's reason to like this horse stretching out. Grandma is Sometimes. She's an unraced full sister to England Highway's Ali Royale, whose wins include the Group 1 Sussex and 1,000 guineas winner Sleepy Time. Sometime is also a half to a highway in Italy and Germany in Taipan. And Taipan's resume includes 2 editions of the Group 1 Premio Roma and the Group 1 Europa Praise. So I have to also mention that Calibrate's grandma and those full siblings I mentioned, well, they are by champion miler Royal Academy, who won the Breeders' Cup Mile in 1990. So let's take a look back at that score.
Is clear running now, and here comes Mark of Distinction with his run for the lead. Lady Winner is in behind the phalanx of horses with nowhere to go. Royal Academy and Lester Pickett are 6 lengths off the lead, but they're launching their rally now as they come down to the final furlong. It's All Great to Me as a short lead. Expensive Decision battling back. Mark of Distinction. Royal Academy is thundering down the center of the turf course, and Steinlen is 5th. They're coming down to the finish. Lester Pickett flailing away at Royal Academy. It's All Great to Me toward the inside. Here's the wire. Head bobbing finish. Royal Academy does it, and the living legend out of retirement, 54-year-old Lester Pickett, pulls off the upset here.
Okay, how cool is that, by the way? You know, just a little backstory also on Lester Pickett. I mean, that was incredible, as you heard in the race call, coming out of retirement, riding Royal Academy to such a fabulous win there in the 1990 Breeders' Cup Mile. But he's also known, I think he's even said himself, his 2 favorite horses who he rode throughout his career. One of them is one of my all-time favorite horses, and that is Nijinsky, who won the English Triple Crown, was the first horse to do that in, I think, like 35 years. So again, it was great to see him in that spot. Now, Royal Academy himself, something that you don't want to forget with that horse is that not only was he so accomplished himself, but he was also a half-brother to Stormcat's dam, Terlingua. So a very, very well-bred horse who you find in this pedigree, who was accomplished himself. Now, Calibrate's great granny is Aldiva. She was a broodmare of the year in Ireland and Italy for the reasons I mentioned before with her offspring. And that type of blue hen potency is found in this female line multiple times, because if you go back, it is the tail female line of Delta and Bortai, and Bortai's daughter Levy, who produced Hall of Famer Shuvi. And then you've got Escutcheon, and it goes into the Apple, and the Apple was a taproot mare, and it's from her line that we got the likes of Blee and Bold Forbes and Forgo. So this colt has got the goods, and it's going to be very exciting to see what he does going forward. Now, you would think that was good enough, right? That's a great weekend there for Steve and company, but no, he took another race with another impressive 2-year-old, this time a filly. And again, Santana aboard, his go-to guy. Boy, did they wow us again. And this was the very next day, unveiling Cantata. Now, this filly was bred by Doug and Felicia Branham. And here's the thing you have to consider, okay? Stone Street has some of already the best pedigrees that you could hope to find right there at their own farm. They were willing to go to $950,000 for this filly at Keeneland September. She's a daughter of multiple Grade 1 winner Medaglia d'Oro. We already know what a great sire he is, especially with those fillies. Medaglia, of course, being the sire of Rachel Alexandra and Songbird. Then this filly's out of the Flatter mare Stowshoe. Quick thing about Flatter, full to congrats. Flatter himself, a son of AP Indy, Hall of Famer, won the Belmont and the Classic in '92. One of my all-time favorite horses. But Stowshoe is a full sister to Grade 1 winning Millionaire Terrace. Her scores include the Humana Distaff, the Lexus Raven Run, in which she set a new track record, the La Cañada, the Go for One, the Rancho Bernardo. She also picked up multiple Grade 1 placings, including the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, in which she got the Shodo that was won by Wavell Avenue, if I remember correctly, that year. Now, the second dam, Comedy, is the daughter of a Breeders' Cup winner, and that is champion turfer of 1987, Theatrical, who bettered his second place finish in the 86 edition with triumph in 87. So let's take a look back at Theatrical in the Breeders' Cup Turf.
And Theatrical has powered to the front now as the field turns for home. The arc winner taking aim on the outside. Trempolino set down for the drive. Trempolino taking the lead, a furlong from the wire. But Theatrical has game and he's coming right back. The American, the European, and it is Theatrical in front. Trempolino driving hard, full on, and determined to get him. And here is the wire. And Theatrical has won it. Absolutely spectacular. What more could you ask for? One of America's greatest grass performers, Theatrical, and he ran the race of his life this afternoon to defeat the determined European Trempolino in the Breeders' Cup Turf.
Oh, I love these replays. I've told you that before, right? It's so fun to look back. And yes, one of the greatest turfers in winning the Breeders' Cup Turf, he basically got a natural hat trick of Grade 1 wins because he was going into the race off scores in the Turf Classic as well as the Man of War. So again, that is Theatrical. And you know what? Speaking of war, this family, Cantata's female family, it's the same tail female family of Warfront. How cool is that, right? So Cantata's 6th dam is Secret Promise. And if you look at Warfront's pedigree, Secret Promise is his 4th dam. So whenever you see horses coming from lines, the same lines, and it's a one in which it's pretty prolific and you see class routinely produced by it, you really need to keep attention. And so again, the fact that Stone Street already having the success they've had, and again, those Medaglia d'Oro fillies, one of which being Rachel Alexandra, whom they campaigned, it makes sense that they would like a daughter of Medaglia d'Oro, especially from a family that has this type of lineage to it. So again, very exciting prospect there for Steve. Now, he wasn't the only one who unleashed a noteworthy juvenile this weekend. Chad Brown set out Public Sector. He's a son of Kingman, and Kingman is also the sire of Domestic Spending, with whom Chad also won the Saratoga Derby at 7-1 later on the card. And it was for the same connections of Claravet Stables and jockey Arad Ortiz Jr. Now, as far as Public Sector goes, he closed to glory in the 1/16 Turf Maiden Special Weight, stopping the clock in 1:42 and 55/100ths. That was under a hand ride, and 2 lengths the best of 8 others. As for his sire, Kingman, well, he was 2014's Carte Horse of the Year. That was a year in which he won the Prix Jacques Limbaud, the Irish 2000 Guineas, the St. James's Palace, and the Sussex Stakes. Now, in fact, he'd be undefeated if for not a one runner-up performance in the 2000 Guineas at Newmarket. Now, it does bear mentioning, by the way, that we just had this year's edition of the Jacques Limbaud contested, and it's a win and you're in for the TVG Mile. And if you watch, you already know this, but I will tell others who maybe did not see it, but Palace Pier prevailed. So congratulations to all the connections there. Back to public sector. Again, this 2-year-old for Chad Brown. His dam sire is a champion in multiple Group 1 winning Arc Hero Montjou. And, you know, it's kind of cool because we did see Montjou as a dam sire have success just this past year as Donna Veloce is out of a Montjou mare. Again, he just himself, so accomplished. Now, as far as another horse who made an impression on me this weekend, let's move attention to Ellis Park. We saw multiple Grade 1 winner Frosted get his first winner with a filly named Inject. Now, she prevailed by 6 lengths in a 5-furlong maiden special weight with a final time of 57 and 67/100ths and at 7-1. She was ridden by Julian Leparoux for trainer Stanley Huff and owner Lewis Wright, and she got an 82 buyer for the effort. So that really catapulted her onto the scene in terms of the top buyers. If you subscribe to those, it was pretty impressive to see her do that first out. She's got a very nice pedigree. She was consigned by Denali as a yearling and picked up for $390,000 at Keeneland September with Hunter Rankin as the agent purchasing her. The filly's out of Grade 1 Spinaway winner Appealing Zophie. And so you probably recognize that name because Appealing Zophie is also the dam of Belmont Stakes winner Taproot. So this makes this filly Inject a 3/4 sister to Taproot. Now, if you don't follow pedigrees and you don't know what that means, I'll explain. So the reason that they're more than half siblings is because they're out of the same dam. But while Taproot is by Tappet, she is by a son of Tappet and Frosted. So therefore, they're more than half siblings. They are 3/4 siblings. If you looked at a pedigree chart, for example, you see the mother and the sire, and then you see their parents, right? Okay, so you want to see that there is, a 3/4 of that dynamic matches up, and so therefore, that's how you get a 3/4 sibling. So as far as this filly's female family, beyond Appealing Zophie being a Grade 1 winner and having produced Taproot, Appealing Zophie also produced a Grade 2 winner in a really, really endearing horse. He had a ton of personality. He didn't do a ton on track in terms of becoming a Grade 1 winner himself, but he did get a Grade 2, and I am talking about Ride a Comet. Very cool horse. I spent some time with him over at the Mark Cassey barn, and again, just a really great personality. The family also claims additional Grade 1 winners, however, in Croso, Super May, and a horse who I also always found very endearing in Sloopy. So we've got more 2-year-old action coming up as soon as tomorrow at Saratoga, because we've got the Bolton Landing, which is a 5.5 furlong turf sprint for the girls going on. It goes off as race 8 on the card. So you've got 10 horses entered, 2 of which are entered main track only. And one of the things I thought was a little interesting is one of those main track only horses, well, both of them actually are trained by Wesley Ward, but one of them, and her name is, she is the 7 horse, Sunny Isle Beach. So he has her entered in the Bolton Landing as a main track only, but she's cross-entered in with the regular field going against the boys in the Skidmore Stakes, which is a 5.5 furlong turf sprint. So I thought that was pretty interesting, to be honest with you. But as far as your favorite, that's Toby's Heart. She's by Grade 1 turf miler Jack Milton. She's at even money on the morning line after winning a 6 3/4 She won by 6 3/4 lengths on debut. She got an 86 buyer, and that was a 5.5 furlong turf sprint at Churchill back on June 4th. A horse I'm kind of curious about, not necessarily in the Bolton Landing, because I think this filly may want more ground, but at 12 to 1 on the morning line is Sassy Hannah. They got her for $140,000 at Keeneland September. And you might be like, oh, 6 figures. But when you consider the fact that she's by Warfront, they didn't even get the $250,000 stud fee, let alone all the money that goes into then taking care of the dam while she's pregnant and then when the foal comes. But that being said, you know, she's working really well from what I can tell here. And the pedigree definitely suits for the grass. Even though Warfront himself, he was a dirt horse. He's also produced some nice dirt horses. For example, Omaha Beach just recently, and Warp Will has shown versatility himself, being a son of Warfront. But she's out of homesteading by Unbridled Song. And Unbridled Song, a lot of people forget, I think, because he ended up being known for being a sire. He won the 1995 Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So that's part of the reason why his foals have been so precocious and so desired. And actually, it was such a great addition because the horse with whom he battled, Hennessy, went on to be a very nice sire himself. And actually, let's take a look back at that race, the 1995 Breeders' Cup Juvenile featuring Unbridled Song.
Taking the lead as the field turns for home. On the outside, Hennessy and those two will come down to the final furlong together. Hennessy in a full-out drive. Unbridled Song giving his all toward the rail. Farther back, Honor and Glory is now running in third. Editor's note is fourth. Unbridled Song and Hennessy in a duel down to the line. Unbridled Song, Hennessy, here's the wire. And it is Unbridled Song who wins by a head. A hard-fought head it was over Hennessy this afternoon in the Juvenile. He usually goes right to the lead, not today, off the pace. A brief but brilliant season for Unbridled Song.
And you can really tell just the size difference too. Unbridled Song was a big, big boy. Now Hennessy, yeah, he was second, but he got a Breeders' Cup Juvenile win with one of his progeny, Johannesburg. Johannesburg was undefeated at 2 years old. He went 7 for 7. He won. He was a Group 1 winner over in Europe, and then came over here and he won that Breeders' Cup Juvenile and went on himself to be a very influential sire too. So, so basically, getting right back down to this. So homesteading, again, that's the dam of Sassy Hannah, who I'm talking about, who's in the Bolton Landing Stakes tomorrow. Homesteading was in a race, but her dam, Homebound by Dixie Union, won the Group 2 Prix de Sandringham, excuse me. Again, if anybody has any tips on how to talk while you have you know, these earbuds in, by all means, like, give me some tips, because I feel like, you know, when you have a cold and you're talking through a cold and your train of thought and the way you speak kind of gets lost, I feel like that's what's happening with these things. So if you, again, have tips on speaking with earbuds in, please let me know. So anyway, getting back to it. So Homebound by Dixie Union won the Group 2 Prix de Sandringham and is out of Black Speck. Now, Black Speck is a sister to Dynaformer. Not quite 3/4, but more than half, because, well, Black Speck was by Arch, who's by Chris S., who's by Roberto. Dynaformer was by Roberto. So again, it's not quite 3/4, but it's definitely more than half. And I already spoke to Dynaformer and the fact that he imparts a lot of stamina and class. Black Speck herself produced Grade 1 winner War Flag, who won the Flower Bowl Stakes, in addition to champion stayer in Hong Kong, Lines of Battle. So like I said, maybe we'll see this 5.5 furlongs prove too short for this filly, but perhaps one to keep your eye on. Again, yes, there's pause because of the sales price discrepancy with the actual stud fee, but again, it looks like she's working very well. So at a price, who knows if she might pop up, right? So Christophe Clement also has a filly in this race, and I think this is one that could potentially jump up. I'm just looking for where she went here in my PPs. There she is. She's the 9-horse Mischievous Dream at 8 to 1 on the morning line. She won her debut back on July 19th at Saratoga. It was a 5.5 furlong Turf Sprint. She only got a 52 buyer. So, I mean, obviously that's why there's a huge odds swing between her and your favorite Toby's Heart. She's by Into Mischief, and we are, again, if you tune into the show, you already know Into Mischief, awesome horse. Not only the fact that he himself was a Grade 1 winner at 2 years old, winning the Cash Call Futurity, but he's a half to Mendelssohn, who's a Grade 1 winner at 2 years old, winning the 2017 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, and a half to Beholder, 4-time Eclipse champion, who at 2 years old won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly. So again, you have that Grade 1 precociousness. This filly's out of a trippy mare who is a half sister to multiple Grade 1 winning turfer Precious Passion. Do you remember him? He was pretty cool. He himself was a son of the aforementioned Royal Academy. But as far as Precious Passion goes, he earned over $2.5 million with scores in the United Nations, which he won twice, by the way. He won the Clement L. Hirsch Memorial Turf Championship Stakes, just a number of races. He was also second a half length to Conduit in the 2009 Breeders' Cup Turf. So a very nice pedigree here. And again, you're getting some speed in there. Like I said, this filly debuted back in July. There's a long time to go between July and now August. And so at 8-1, I think, again, this is a filly that you could definitely have some hopes has moved forward maturation-wise. Now, like I told you, this one's for the fillies, a 5.5 furlong turf sprint, the Bolton Landing. The Skidmore for the boys, well, that is later in the week. That is coming up on the 21st. And in that race, again, I already mentioned to you that Ward has cross-entered that filly, Sunny Isle Beach. Even though she's a main track only for the Bolton Landing, she cross-entered as a part of the field in the Skidmore. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But in addition to her, he also has two others, Golden Pal and Fauci. And Golden Pal by Uncle Mo, who won the 2010 Breeders' Cup Juvenile and was Eclipse Champion Juvenile Male. We already know what he's done as a sire in imparting that precociousness. But Golden Pal is also the first foal out of Lady Shipman. Do you remember her? Boy, was she accomplished. And she herself was a son of a Breeders' Cup Juvenile champ in Midshipman. So Lady Shipman herself, I'm actually, you know what? I don't have the replay for you, but if you want to go back and check it out, it's pretty cool because she herself, she herself was in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint second. She just came up short by a neck in that race, but it's kind of fitting because her son just got caught by a very short margin in his last race, and that was in the Group 2 Norfolk Stakes, which is a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint by the Learjet, and I have that replay for you right here.
Very quickly indeed through the first 3 furlongs here. Still leads by a length and a half. The Learjet getting on terms far side with Eye of Heaven. And then in behind these is Macho Pride. Jojo Rabbit tries to stay on, but Golden Pal finds a bit more. Shaken up there by Andrea Azzini. 2 lengths to the Learjet. They're clear. Can the Learjet close down on this long-time leader? Golden Pal from the Learjet. They have it between them. Racing up to the line. The Learjet getting close. Golden Pal needs the line. The Learjet has got up. The Learjet has won the Norfolk from Golden Pal, worn down in the dying strides. Back in third then Imperial Force, and quite close for fourth with Macho Pride, Ventura Tormenta and Lipizzana.
Okay, so that was on good soft going. We know Ward's horses generally like it nice and fast. So you can basically give a little bit of a mulligan to this horse for not being able to hold the Learjet off. The Learjet himself, I mean, he's done well since. He recently crossed the wire third in the Group 1 Keeneland Phoenix Stakes, but he was elevated to second because there was a disqualification of Aloha Star from second. So again, the Learjet was elevated from third to second, and that was behind Lucky Vega, the winner of the Group 1 Keeneland Phoenix Stakes. Meanwhile, Fauci is by Malibu Moon and is out of Tash Zara, and she's a half-sister to Group 1 winners Calibrate and Lancaster Bomber, the latter of which we're really familiar with because he came over here for 2 editions of the Breeders' Cup. In 2016, he was second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, and in 2017, he was second in the Breeders' Cup Mile. And you know, speaking of the Juvenile Turf Sprint, there's also an actual official win and you're in for the Juvenile Turf Sprint coming up. That's on August 23rd. It's the Darley Prix Morny. So you don't want to miss that. But still, these races, the Skidmore, and who knows with Ward, if he has a filly win in the Bolton Landing, you never know if he'll decide, obviously, to put her in with boys in the Juvenile Turf Sprint, too, if he gets a big performance. So races we definitely want to keep our eye on. Now, we also have Win in action tomorrow at York because we have the Juddmonte International Stakes. It's a win and you're in, not for the Breeders' Cup Turf, but for the Longines Classic. So you'll definitely want to be tuned in for that. Then on August 20th, we've got the Darley Yorkshire Oaks. It's a win and you're in for the Maker's Mark Filly and Mare Turf. Then on the 21st, the Coolmore Nunthorpe Stakes presented by Racing TV is a win and you're in for the Turf Sprint at York. August 22nd, back at Saratoga, we got the 4-Star Dave, a win and you're in for the TVG Mile. And the Del Mar Handicap on August 22nd also, that is presented by the Japan Racing Association. It is a win and you're in for Longines Turf. And then the big one, the TVG Pacific Classic, another win and you're in for the Longines Classic, November 7th at Keeneland. So that is basically your wrap up. Again, if you ever see any thoughts on the I'm sorry, just seeing comments right now. Any thoughts on Del Mar Race 1 Saturday for the 2-year-old fillies? I have not looked at that race. I will check it out. And thank you again for I see right here, try AirPods. I may have to try that because I feel like I can't hear myself. It's very strange. Like I said, it feels like I'm talking through a cold having these in my ear. For some reason, it doesn't bother me as much when I do BC Live. Speaking of which, I'll be teaming back up with my friend Dan Torgman, and we're going to have Matt Bernier as well as Bram Weinstein, and bringing you BC Live, the TVG Pacific Classic Edition on Saturday. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be hanging out a little later than we usually do because of the West Coast time difference. And while I have stepped to water through broadcasts in the past when doing those shows with them, I think with it being a later show, I may have to bust out the Prosecco or something. So who knows? It could be very, very fun. So anyway, again, that is your Future Stars forecast. I'll be keeping my eye out for any 2-year-olds that you should be putting down in your notes as we head into the coming weeks and getting closer to November 6th, which is Future Stars Friday at Keeneland, hosted by the Breeders' Cup. So, well, actually, it's Keeneland hosting the Breeders' Cup, but Breeders' Cup hosting this idea of, basically a showcase for these 2-year-old horses who will hopefully be making headlines into 2021. All right, guys, that's it. Talk to you later.